St. Louis Blues versus Winnipeg Jets. The race in the Central Division has turned into a grind, and this matchup in Winnipeg arrives with both teams fighting to stay alive in the middle of the standings. The St. Louis Blues, 27-29-10, skate into Canada Life Centre sitting on 64 points, level with the Winnipeg Jets, 26-28-10, who also hold 64 points. Only Chicago sits below them in the division, while teams like Colorado and Dallas have already separated from the pack. That makes this meeting critical. These clubs have split their regular season series so far. Winnipeg taking a 3-1 win on February 1st, while St. Louis answered earlier with a 1-0 victory on January 12th. The standings say parity. The stakes say urgency. With both teams chasing traction in the second half of the season, this game carries the weight of momentum and possibly survival in the divisional race. The statistical tale of the tape shows two teams built differently but struggling for the same consistency. St. Louis leans heavily on the playmaking of Robert Thomas, who leads the club with 44 points, 16 goals, 28 assists. Pavel Buchnevich adds secondary scoring with 40 points, while Jordan Kyrou and Jimmy Snuggerud continue to supply depth production. Winnipeg counters with one of the division's most dangerous offensive leaders in Mark Scheifele, whose 79 points, 30 goals, 49 assists, drive the Jets' attack. Kyle Connor is right behind with 72 points, giving Winnipeg a dynamic scoring duo capable of breaking games open quickly. Team averages highlight a narrow gap between the clubs. Winnipeg produces slightly more offense at 2.83 goals per game, compared with St. Louis's 2.64. The Jets also carry the edge on special teams, converting 18.1% on the power play and killing 78.7% of penalties, while the Blues operate at 16.9% on the power play and 74.9% on the penalty kill. Defensively, both teams have allowed more than they'd like, St. Louis giving up 3.27 goals per game, Winnipeg 3.08. In short, neither team dominates defensively, which places enormous pressure on their stars and goaltenders to swing the balance. Momentum entering the night tilts toward both teams in different ways. St. Louis arrives rolling through a 4-1 stretch in its last 5, including wins over Edmonton, Carolina, Anaheim, and San Jose, 3 of them decided in overtime. That tells a story of resilience and late-game composure. Winnipeg also holds a 4-1 mark over its last 5, defeating Anaheim, Vancouver, Tampa Bay, and Chicago before stumbling 6-3 against the Rangers. Offense has been flowing, but defensive breakdowns remain a concern. The trends are clear. Both teams can score, both have been surviving tight finishes, and neither side has shown the consistency to dominate for 60 minutes, which brings the focus squarely to the crease. St. Louis is likely to rely on Joel Hofer, whose 17-11-4 record, 2.70 goals against average, and .907 save percentage have quietly stabilized the Blues' goaltending. Hofer's calm positioning and rebound control give St. Louis a chance to survive defensive lapses. Winnipeg counters with Connor Hellebuyck sitting at 16-18-9 with a 2.80 GAA and .899 save percentage. When Hellebuyck locks in, the Jets play faster and more confidently in front of him. But inconsistency has crept into his numbers this season, leaving Winnipeg vulnerable in high-tempo games. Tactically, this matchup comes down to pace and structure. Winnipeg thrives when Scheifele and Connor attack off the rush, forcing defenders to retreat and opening space through the middle. St. Louis prefers controlled entries and puck movement through Thomas, trying to generate layered offense rather than breakaway speed. Special teams could tilt the ice. Winnipeg's stronger penalty kill may neutralize the Blues' man advantage, while the Jets' power play has shown flashes of finishing ability. Physical play along the boards will matter too, especially with Winnipeg missing injured contributors like Nino Niederreiter, Neil Pionk, and Vladislav Nemesnikov. Expect a fast start, plenty of scoring chances, and a tight third period where one mistake could decide everything. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Winnipeg Jets winner. Winnipeg's slightly stronger offensive punch and home ice energy give them the edge in a matchup that otherwise looks even on paper. If Scheifele's line finds space early and Hellebuyck delivers a steady performance in net, the Jets should have just enough firepower to outlast a resilient Blues squad. My second pick for this match is total over 5.5.